It seems like the Sentebale saga keeps rumbling on. So we got news yesterday that one of the new charity's trustees just resigned less than a month after being appointed to the board of Sentebale. And the lady in question was appointed on the 25th of March and she's already out. So what's going on behind the scenes? And this is a thread that I have been pulling. Remember, many videos ago, I spoke about the appointment process for people who bang on and on about governance. How can you appoint new trustees within 24 hours of the old ones resigning? And we know that Sentebale is currently under investigation by the Charity Commission. And why would you then bring a new trustee into all this? But here's one thing I know. This particular trustee is a professional. She's a GP, she's a professor, and she has an excellent reputation. However, there have been alleged previous relationship between her and the current chair. And if that thread is pulled over and over again, I wonder what people are going to find. So in my opinion, I think resigning was the best thing, because sometimes if an organization is going through so much of a mess, that's not the best time to join, unless you are a turnaround expert. Now, I have several questions and you already know the answers. Number one, was her appointment rushed? Number two, was she properly briefed? Is it one of those situations where you get told one thing when you're appointed and then once you're in the organization, you discover something else? Who knows? Did she walk into a storm that she didn't sign up for? Possibly, but who knows? Now, let's not forget that it was the chairperson who actually went on a full media tour. She was the one hopping from program to program, from paper to paper, making allegations, some of which, according to the same newspapers who interviewed her, the same newspapers are alleging that a lot of what she said has been refuted. So, who knows? Are her actions behind this particular fallout? Who knows? But one thing I do know, that this isn't a PR issue anymore. It's about trust, it's about leadership, and it's about accountability of a high profile charity. And when the leadership becomes the headline, the mission of the charity suffers. And right now, there are more questions being asked than there are answers. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, follow, and comment for more. And if my voice sounds a bit croaky, I have this nasty cold. So yeah, but I just thought I still have to do this TikTok because this was a curveball that nobody saw coming. So yeah, I'm still baffled as to why you appoint someone and then less than a month later, the person resigns. Some people just come out and make claims as long as it would get them into the newspaper. This is someone that we've never heard of before, but suddenly they've made themselves a spokesperson for the Sentebale drama. What do I mean? So this person came out saying they are a brother to Prince Ciso, and they of course gave a British newspaper a number of quotes, some very wild. I'm not even going to repeat the nonsense here. And of course the newspaper ate it up. So I thought, let's just ask a basic question. Let's go to Google, let's go to Wiki, let's go to ChatGPT. Is this person a brother? Absolutely not. They are a senior member of the Basotho royal family in Lesotho, and they serve as a spokesperson or advisor to the family occasionally. He holds a prominent traditional title and is influential within the monarchy, but he is not one of late King Letses III's sons. Therefore, he is not a sibling of Prince Seeso. Prince Seeso himself is younger brother to King Letsi the fourth or third or something. So anyway, yeah, it's unbelievable what people will do for a bit of attention, for a bit of getting into the media. And yeah, they just make claims. I mean, some of the claims was that Harry hadn't been to Lesotho or something like that, only for it to be shown that he'd actually visited twice within the last few years. So yeah, people will just say they're nonsense because they know they can say anything against Meghan and Harry, and the haters, the trolls, the derangers, they would believe it and lap it up. And then when they're proven to be liars, the proof, or when the truth is uncovered, that is never as loud as the initial claim. So yeah, I just thought, if somebody can lie about such an obvious thing, what else are they lying about? But anyway, my name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And yeah, again, although I've got a cold, I just thought, let me come on and debunk some of this crazy report. But anyway, please like, share, comment, and follow for more.
Can I ask you about the next generation down? Because there's this accusations, at least, that William's trying to sort of prod the bear a little bit with Harry, because he's hired to take over as CEO of Earthshot, that sort of prize that he gives out. He's hired the former Harry aide who accused Meghan of bullying.
Yeah, I mean, Jason is a very able courtier. He's got a lot of experience. He's Jason Knauf. He's worked for Helen Clark, the New Zealand Prime Minister. He's worked for the Treasury here, Bank of Scotland, I think, and he had quite a long spell working for both William and Kate and Harry and Meghan. But yeah, his appointment probably won't go down well with the Sussex camp at all, with Harry and Meghan and their supporters particularly, because he was the person who levelled allegations of bullying at Meghan, having heard it from some of the staff, and she and Harry accused that essentially said that allegation was part of a coordinated smear campaign against them. He also agreed to appear in court as a witness when the publishers of the Mail and the Mail on Sunday were being sued by Meghan. And he also slightly undermined Meghan's case, where she had claimed that she hadn't briefed the two writers who wrote a biography of Harry and Meghan's flight to freedom, entitled Finding Freedom. She claimed she hadn't briefed them, and then he was willing to come forward to say, well, actually, we talked about it a lot, and they did get briefed by me on Meghan's behalf, so that she had to apologise to the court. All of those things, I think, will make it more difficult yet again for the Sussexes and the Cambridge, what were the Cambridges, the Walesers, to reconcile, I guess. But Harry and Meghan know that he's been a loyal aide to William and Kate, and they're not even speaking at the moment, as far as we can tell. So I suppose it's a little bit academic at this stage.
The witness statement.
In his witness statement, this was, quote, not gossip or tittle-tattle.
What does that mean?
What it means is that a senior figure in the royal household, according to Mail on Sunday, was passing him information in order to help defeat the Duchess's case.
That the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February,
and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Naff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point, unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definitely the same between them.
Really speak quite badly about.
Oh, well, the way that Meghan is spoken about by the people that have had to deal with her is quite frightening.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
pleased she's gone.
Yeah, but she's not.
When you say aides, you mean
aides to William and Kate and other members of the royal family. They're pleased that William and Kate have got this clear path without any distractions, and that they can see a link between the young Queen that we saw there with Philip, and there's a direct link via Charles, however long he's on the throne. But then we come back to this couple of William and Kate. That's their focus.
witness statement
that he made, and he named an official. Unless he withdrew that allegation, his allowance would be stopped. And when he said he wasn't going to withdraw the allegation, he wanted to pursue the case against the Sun newspaper, his allowance was stopped.
Everything changed after we separated. Life became very difficult then for me. People's agendas changed overnight. I was a problem. I was a liability. How are we going to deal with her?
It became a condition of your patriotism that you must therefore support the Prince of Wales. The belief that if we were loyal monarchists, we had to be on his side. Well, I'm sorry. As a loyal monarchist, my loyalty was to the principles of the British Crown. And I saw royal virtues embodied in her more than in him. But I think the real damage was done by those who tried to marginalize her, or, in more recent years, airbrush Diana out of royal history. They saw that their man's path to the crown would be a great deal easier.
And along the way, Harry was collateral damage in terms of thrown under the bus with stories. And, when you think about it, Camilla is, nobody says it, but in terms that you could have been seen as the wicked stepmother.
Yeah,
and,
well, he
and
almost said that in his book. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
and you can't blame. But of course, for Charles, that's unforgivable because Camilla is non-negotiable. I mean, she's queen for God's sake, when even the proper queen didn't want her to be. She wanted her to be queen consort, and Charles has overruled all of that.
Yeah, anyone comes for Camilla, that's where Charles.
Quite a special moment for you, isn't it? Because this is possibly the last time you'll be living together.
First and last time we'll be living together.
It's been a fairly emotional experience. Yeah.
How much service rivalry is there between you two?
None at all.
No, not at all really.
I mean, everyone knows the army's better than the
I'm a cavalry boy anyway, so it's fine. There's a good balance between army pilots and RAF pilots obviously as well. And the Navy pilots just in the background, they didn't do anything, so it's fine.
And would you live together again? Much experience being the same?
Well, bear in mind I cook him and feed him basically every day. I think he's done rather well.
I told you the other week that he did all the washing up.
He does do a bit of the washing up, then he leaves most of it in the sink and then it comes back in the morning and I have to wash it up.
Oh, the lies.
Unbelievable.
Do you end up find yourself tidying up after him? Or?
Yeah, a fair bit of tidying. He snores a lot as well. It keeps me out all night long.
I think we're showing a better.
Do the best I can, and that's all I ever wanted to do. And the search and rescue role is now, slightly different to obviously being able to go to Afghanistan, but it's still doing an important job. And I hope that it's just heading in the right direction exactly for the future.
Yeah, but we can't talk about this. Yeah. How do we do it? Yeah. So that we went, okay, so how do we come up with a concept that we know that the audience will get without saying it? So the guys devised, they went to Peace Content, we got one of our lovely airline chairs, and for some reason one of the armrests were sticking up. Just, again, we forgot to put it down. We also then started crafting copy around, letting William know we saved him a seat, and we just joined the dots. But before that went out, which was the final piece of content, we actually started to put language in, like Prince William and all these things. And if we would have done that, we were toast. It was libel, defamation. So we were able to strip it back to the point where it could have been any sort of William. We could have been like Josie. It was their 40th wedding anniversary. They contacted our social media team and asked, could you put out a post for my husband William? I'm going to surprise him with a holiday for our 40th wedding anniversary and just tell him we saved him a seat. So whatever we put out there, it could be interpreted in so many ways. But we knew that the timing of it and when it went out, the audience would know exactly what would happen. So anyway, went out, completely exploded. There was nothing there that was a risk. We mitigated enough where legally or anything it wouldn't have been an issue, and it was, you know, really funny joke. We get a call from the palace telling us to take it down. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So we deleted it. So we called them, we said we'd take it down, and they're like, oh, thank you very much. See you later. But yeah, there's loads of other examples.
The biggest job of a lady in waiting is you always have to hold your tongue. You always have to not put forth your opinions and be really, certainly maybe not now, but to the Tudor monarchs, your job is to really be their constant friend, but not have any issues of your own.
Or opinions, by the sounds of it.
Well, you're riding that tightrope between being the Queen's confidant and being her chaperone.
Embarrass the royal family. In fact, Charles is very against this case that he's bringing now to get his royal protection back. Charles doesn't think he should have it. Harry is still fighting for it, even though his two courts have told him that he's not entitled to have it.
Charles doesn't like him fighting. That's the key thing, isn't it, I think?
But it best.
I've come to the conclusion that really it would have been far easier to have had two wives.
Although most people did not realise it at the time, there was someone else already. Camilla Parker Bowles.
Meghan.
I can't bear a Sunday night without you. Oh, God, I fill up your tank. Yes, you do. How do you do? Sometimes I need you several times a week. So do I. I need you all the week. All the time. I think you're going to come back as a penny because... God forbid a 10-pack.
2300 Jackson Street in that little house. I was born in that house, the only one born in that house. We had 2 bedrooms in our home, and I and my sisters, Janet and LaToya, slept in the living room. We had a couch that led out into a bed. My brothers slept in one room, and that room had triple bunk beds, and they slept on the bunk beds. And then my parents slept in the other room. Tito and Jermaine slept in one bunk bed. Marlon and Michael slept in a bunk bed together that they shared. And then Jackie slept in one. And then, of course, when Randy came along, he shared it with Jackie. We slept in the living room, the girls did. And we had a couch that led out into a bed, and we shared the bed. Janet used to sleep literally on my stomach when she was born. When you live in an area such as the area that we came from, you really don't think about that. I mean, poor, that was a way of life. We had plenty of food to eat, and we had clothes, went to school. We were like all the other kids in the area. When Michael was first born, he was like all the other kids. The only difference that he had as he began to get older was that he was extremely mischievous, rambunctious. He would do little things to annoy you, or for example, when he would get in trouble, he'd run from my mom if she wanted to chastise him, and he'd run up under the bed and hang on to the springs, and they couldn't get him out. They, meaning my brothers, they tried, but they couldn't do it. So she'd just say, leave him alone, wait till later. He'll come out sooner or later. He used to always make funny faces. If everybody was down or whatever, he'd walk in the kitchen and buck his eyes or whatever, and do something really crazy to make you laugh. He was just fun. He would always do funny things, anything for a laugh, anything for a laugh. And I remember in particular one time when I was at my mom's house, LaToya was always very persnickety about the way she kept her room. She had this beautiful, I think it was a white satin bedspread that she had just gotten on her bed. And Michael had went to some kind of shop where you buy these little gadgets, tricks, and he took some invisible ink and he spread it all over the bedspread, squirted it all over, and then he had her to come in and look at it. She was livid. She got so upset. She didn't know, she knew something had happened, and she knew probably it was him, and she thought it wouldn't come out, and she had a living fit. Crazy, 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 crazy around the house. Everything for a laugh, anything to make people have fun. My first time ever performing with the family, I was the last one, was when they had the family show, and they traveled all across the United States. And I did this song and dance routine with Marlon and Michael. I did the lead, and they accompanied me in the dance. And I was on stage dancing, doing my thing, and they, came in and accompanied me, and they were dancing around me in a circle. And they had me scared to death because they said, Riri, don't look down, there's a roach crawling up your leg. And I started screaming right while I was performing. And he started laughing, crazy stuff like that. While you're on stage in front of an audience, this goes on. I remember Michael getting chastised with the rest of my brothers by my father. And he was very strict. He was a strong disciplinarian. And he did not play. And I'm sure he was afraid of that. I mean, he was always Michael that is, getting into trouble. So when he got into trouble, the next thing was the chastisement that would come after it. So yeah, I remember that very well. He didn't even have to take the strap out. All he'd have to do is look at you like this. Growing up, we were very close. I mean, all of us were close. And the thing I always think about, or think in terms of with my brother, is that as a kid, my mom had to work, and that meant that for those that were at home, they had to have a babysitter, and I was in school, so there were times when I had to walk my brother to my grandmother's house before I went to school, and she would babysit him, and then I would go to school. He would perform and do the moves and routine that everyone else was doing, but then all of a sudden he would add a little bit of something in there different, catch you off guard, and that happened a lot of times when he had to perform before people too. And that was him feeling what he was doing, and I noticed that. And then not only that, just him getting into his routines and studying on his routines and trying to perfect what he was doing. I noticed that it came very easy for him because he loved it so much. And that's when I started noticing, and I'm sure everyone else did, how that there was a little bit of a difference, quite a bit of a difference, I should say, with his performing in the others. He was always tap dancing all over the house. He would, you know what he would do? He would put on roller skates and skate around. This is so dangerous. Skate around the swimming pool to see how close he could come to it without going in. He would dance as he was doing it, and tap dancing too. Money that they would gather together from performing in the local area, he would take his money and save it, and Marlon would spend his. And then Michael saved so much of his money, he wanted to have his own little candy store, so he'd go down to the corner store, he bought candy, and he sold it at the house, or he called himself selling it. But I have to tell you, something that was really funny about it is Marlon would sneak and eat his candy when he wasn't watching. He was upset, he'd cry and chew him out about doing it. That candy store meant everything to him. When I first heard it, I couldn't believe it, and it was sort of exciting, and I went, wow, that's them? And I had to get used to the song, because even though it was a very big hit, your brother singing on a record, on vinyl, and you hearing it is something totally different. But I thought it was great. I remember my mom didn't like it at first. She thought, I don't know, you know, that kind of attitude. But then, of course, everybody grew to like it. But it was a lot of fun listening to it, and it was something that was unreal. I can't even express how I felt. He was very close to my mother, and she was like a comfort to him, I think. They spent a lot of time together, and you know, at one point Michael was going through a stage where he had a serious acne problem, and it had gotten so bad that Michael was afraid to really look at people in the face and talk to them. I mean, when he talked to you, he'd look down, and my mother was sensitive toward that. I think because of her interest in wanting to help him, to give him the needed support that was necessary then, I think that caused a lot of the closeness. Because he was in the entertainment profession, and as many entertainers do, he wanted to look his best. He thought that definitely enhanced his features or his looks. And that's why I think he thought in the direction that he did. Oh, you can say that about just about every entertainer that's out there, or not every entertainer, but a great majority of them. They look fine, but they always think they can look better if they go and extend it another notch by having that done. So I guess it's what makes the person feel good themselves. When Michael was really focused and together, he was the most wonderful, encouraging, innovative, and enlightening person you would ever want to meet. He was just very, as you said, loyal and pure. And I miss that more than anything else. He would make you feel so good. I remember one time I had to perform. I was performing in New York City, my first time by myself. Panicked because I had the flu. I was so sick. I couldn't even go, ah. And I called him, and he started laughing. He said, you're going to be okay. I had to perform before CBS, all these people at the company. He said, you'll be okay. He told me what to do to get my voice back. I was able to perform that night. But when I finished the number, I couldn't even talk. But what he told me, it really worked. And that being that, he was always encouraging, knew what to say and how to say it. I know Michael had a lot of problems he was dealing with. And it's very difficult to even sit here and talk about him, really. It really is. But I feel that one thing is for sure, I think he's the greatest entertainer thus far that's ever lived. I really admired his talent, loved him very much. And when he was together, I think he was one of the warmest and most lovable persons you could ever meet. I really do think that. I think Michael's legacy is his music and his love for entertaining people. And when being together, you know, when he was focused, wanting to just help people and do what was right. There's so many people today, young people especially, that try to ascribe to learning about his talents and his musical ability, because he was outstanding, very talented when it came to that, with his producing and his dancing. And I think that's going to be the legacy. And also the concern that he had for others when it came to those that were ill or those that were sick.
people, Lady Rose here. How y'all doing? All my new subscribers, you're welcome, and my returning subscribers, y'all know I love you. Sophie Kombucha, Sophie Kombucha. Guys, let's go back to Sentebale. Here we go. So Sophie Kombucha hired this doctor. This one here, I believe she's a really doctor because they said she's a professor. And the way she thinks makes me believe actually in that title. Because the queen got hired, she got appointed to be a part of the Sentebale. And guess what? Y'all know what the kombucha did. Y'all saw what kombucha came out with here. So she appointed this lady, and the queen was like, no, I'm better than that. I ain't no honoris doctor. I am a really professor sitting down here. Do not underestimate my intelligence. I ain't playing with no Sophie Kombucha. I ain't playing with no damn kombucha. Kombucha is crazy and greedy. And she doesn't really care about the people. She doesn't care about being a humanitarian. Remember, kombucha wanted to change Sentebale to be a climate change something charity. Kombucha actually cares about weather, the climate out here more than she cares about the humans who are out here suffering. Those kids who are orphaned from the parents who died tragically by the disease made by white people, created and injected in the black people. Kombucha, who is not even from Lesotho, came out here to tell y'all guys AIDS is minimal. It's not doing anything anymore. It's not unaliving people in Lesotho. There's no AIDS anymore. But guess what? Remember the minister, one of the government members of Lesotho came out here, told y'all guys AIDS, HIV does exist in that country. But this Sophie kid, stupid Sophie, I wonder if she's really educated or she also purchased the degree like all of them stupid people do out here. Like that dude there, that orange man, who's dismantling people's government around without any degrees, without any economics expertise. You know, this kind of people, it's just really sad to have them around. People like those ones, kombucha, those narcissists, they do not work for anything that they have. Everything that they have, they take it from others. I wonder how many people has Sophie robbed on this planet to be where she's at. Even to use that title doctor alone, with no degree. Honoris doctor and no doctor. I wonder which university even kind of honored her like that, because she doesn't even deserve no honor. She doesn't behave like someone who's intellectual. She doesn't behave like somebody who has the intellectual baggage in her head. She is some kind of some piece of shit from somewhere, I don't know where. And Margaret, I'm gonna forgive you because you went there, probably you did not know everything. And when you got in that little dirty box that Sophie came up with, you probably learned that was not a good place to be if you wanted to have a good reputation. And you took yourself out of there on time. good for you. And what does this one make you look like, Sophie? How do you even feel after another black sister quits you, leaves you, and walks away from wherever position you gave her? Because you know what? She doesn't suffer the complex of inferiority that you have in you. She is an actual professor. Yeah, there are people talking about her out here. People actually know who she is. And nobody knows where you completed your PhD or a doctorate in whatever you are a doctor in. You fake like you stupid mother whoever gave birth to you. So dumb. And I heard you parents were teachers. I wonder what kind of teachers those parents were. Because teachers teach their kids values. I wonder if they also stole them ways to get all those teacher titles in that country of yours, because it doesn't even sound like you guys are kind of legitimate, some people. I told you all guys about that government, what that government did to the president of the deceased president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the president of Zimbabwe. Those people, that government is full of mafia. I love my Zimbabwean brothers and sisters. I got nothing against you, but your government is so corrupt like all the other African governments are. You have the people on the top, they all behave like Sophie. And that's where she learned how to be who she is. And make no mistake, that bitch worked for Meta. And y'all know what Meta stands for. She's terrible. And y'all saw this other chief who came out to tell y'all guys that she's a brother of Prince Cecil. That's another one, but I won't blame that guy there, because I know African culture, we call every single person our brothers and sisters. That's just a cultural thing. But I believe those UK people just took it out of context, or the guy wanted it to sound like out of context because he got money. Somebody paid him some kind of 2 coins. And you know, with the recession right now here, you're gonna see all kind of mafia coming out, popping out. And especially in Africa, where you have all those leaders doing whatever they're doing out there. If I say lots of stuff about those people, my videos don't really go through the algorithm out here. You know, this algorithm on this channel, on this platform, they don't like the truth. If you're a truth teller, your videos ain't gonna go through most of the times. So I'ma just keep it to that. So just remember, in African culture, everybody's your brother, everybody's your sister. And those people, if they are coming from the same tribe or wherever, because people have tribes in Africa. Like you have a Yoruba tribe, you have an Igbo tribe. So if anyone is Yoruba, they're gonna tell you they're your family, and of course they are, because you are from the same ancestors. So every single Yoruba out here is related to me. Yes, you got Yoruba blood, you related to me. The Igbo people, when you have a Igbo blood, you related to them. Because those ancestors used to be one person. And they gave birth to multiple kids, and those kids traveled to multiple villages, and they had kids in multiple corners of the country. But y'all still speak the same language. Y'all still speak the same language. You have the same culture and everything, because you all descended from the same person, from the same ancestors. So you can't deny when that motherfucker came out here. When he came out here to tell y'all guys that he is Prince Cecil's brother. Yes, in that lineage, he is Cecil's brother. Even though they didn't come from the same mother, but they came from the same ancestors. which makes them that brother in African way. And the UK people just took it like literally, so they could use it against Prince Harry against Prince Cecil, and use everything that they have a little tiny bit of something about Prince Harry that comes up. They just want to amplify it and just make it worse. But it is what it is. I'm glad I heard they corrected their mistake. I heard that from my Queen Weezy's channel. That's Isabella Back's channel. Y'all go there and subscribe to Isabella Back's channel. Let's get this is 10,000 subscribers. Follow the explanation she has there about those African tribes and clans and stuff. It's not new to us. All right? And you know, most of those chiefs, some of them are really not educated. They just say stuff. And how do you just say stuff like Prince Harry neglected Lesotho, doesn't visit Lesotho after he married Duchess of Sussex? Y'all know. Did you guys read the theory of Piaget about the child development? That's why I like talking to some smart people most of the times. They do understand when a kid is born, he's gonna grow up and then he's gonna gain its autonomy. It's gonna be free-spirited. It's gonna go away from their parents and he's gonna go in the world and build his family and have his family, and that's another new priority that the child has. Sometimes I have issues with people who never sat down there and read their Bible, their books. Never sat down there and learned the human development. And never sat down there and to understand that when a person grows up and when they are married, they have other priorities. They have other priorities. Their children are their priorities. Their wives or husbands are their new priorities. Is that something hard for you to understand as African parent? You also sound dumb like your mother. And y'all know everything that happened. How he left that family there, had to travel and start from zero. Put his life together. Build his home. Far from that evil family. And yet you sitting down here blaming him. He went to Lesotho a couple of times. And remember, before that, there was a pandemic out here. There was a pandemic. Nobody was traveling nowhere. And you wanted Prince Harry to just risk his life and just to try to travel to come and see you because you were just that better. He plays all those Apollo, raises money for all that foundation. You greedy, unfaithful. I just hate y'all guys. All these people having all this USA, whatever money in the bank, I don't know what the papers to sign for those USA. Do not send that money to those countries. Those leaders need to do something in those African countries. They need to build stuff to help their people. If the America want to stay as a leader to control the world like it does through all those USA and put the CIA, all those people around the world, y'all need to look for some other way to do that. Because y'all not helping Africa. Africa has all it has down there. Why the hell are they not developing anything? Did y'all see how China developed everything from nothing? And y'all sitting down there on all those minerals and not doing anything and just waiting for USA to bring you guys corn and and any other nutrients bring you guys food in Africa, where you have a forest, you can cultivate everything you want. You have arable soil in Africa. You telling me you ain't got no food in Africa? You telling me it's hard for y'all guys to develop farming and everything, that industry out there, so you guys can feed the people. You just want the USA to come and give you guys all the dried, whatever they do give to you. Peas from the United States of America. Shame on you. Y'all need to sit down there and build your damn countries. If you can't do the job, bring the new generation in, because those presidents down there don't even retire. They don't even leave, and they just want to stay there forever and die over there. I saw this one here from Uganda who popped up. She popped out here calling all these people out around here. President Museveni. He came out here, called about this tariff stuff. I saw him calling all these Western government out. He's doing a good job, even though he's been there forever. That guy been president before I was even born. And the other one you have in Uganda, in Rwanda, that Kagame's been there also forever. All these people been like around forever. They don't leave. Y'all need to build those countries. Y'all need to build everything there. Stop the bullshit. All right, my people, I'm gonna talk to you guys again later. We'll continue this video a little bit. No, well, I'm just gonna post this video because it's getting a little bit longer, and I'm gonna come back with the Duchess new podcast, and there are lots of stuff out here to talk about. Bye for now.